that was a really bad take. I really had to start over. That was bad, but no, whatever. This is First and Framerates, episode 21. This is Silent Gamer, also known as Virtual Footballer, and people call me on VF. You can catch me on Twitter at VF Baller, and I'm with my co-host, and his name is Bills. If you don't know already, all right, Bills. Let everybody know what's on your mind so far.
Chilling, man, chilling. Gonna get into some good topics today as usual, and hopefully y'all enjoy this.
Oh yeah, we got some topics, and we're going to talk about the NBA Finals, Game 1, the semi-debacle that happened, all the things up and downs, and the craziness of that. We're also going to talk about a couple of games that's going to Xbox One, some more backwards compatibility by Rockstar. I think that's going to be great. We're also going to talk about a crazy lawsuit that one game is going to sue another company over something that I find really ridiculous. And we're going to finally talk about a tennis game that's getting a bad rap. And I'm kind of shocked because, for me, I think the gameplay is great, but a lot of people are in their feelings about this game, and I'm kind of disappointed with that. So, but first, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals, Game 1. We saw a great game for me, I saw a great game for the first quarter. I went to bed because I had to go to sleep and I had to go to work, so I didn't catch it. But when I got up in the morning, I realized that Golden State ended up winning the game in overtime by 10, 124 to 114. You had LeBron James score 51 points. Another great performance by LeBron James. You had Steph Curry score 29, and Kevin Durant had a solid 26 points. He was 8 of 22. Look like I'm going to talk about Kevin Durant a little later on, but
yeah, I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, but you look at this. Kevin Love had 21 and 13. J.R. Smith had 10 and 6. LeBron's basically not getting too much help or anything. It's ridiculous that he had to score almost half of the team points just for them to be competitive. But I'm going to let you lead on that outside of me talking to us about the stats, because you watched the entire game, so you can kind of enlighten me of what you saw as well as everybody else who's listening.
So the thing that shocked me in the first half was the fact that Cleveland was actually knocking down shots. Besides LeBron,
they were actually playing really good.
They were playing really well. This is the best defense I've seen them play. These last two games, Game 7 versus the Celtics and then Game 1, this is the best defense I've seen them play. Now, granted, they gave up 124 points, but, I mean, you could argue that 10 or, 15 of those points came after the game was already decided and they were demoralized because of J.R. Smith's boneheaded, Henny-ridden error. But I'm going to get to that in a second. Henny-ridden, bro. I'm coming up on my own.
I thought you said Henny like he was drinking Henny.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. But so if we just go through it, I mean, you got the first quarter with Kevin Durant sleepwalking. Looked like somebody paid him to do that, but who am I to, whatever. Stephen Curry was pretty much carrying the offense for that time being. LeBron was dominating, gets in a rack at will. Nobody's going to be able to guard him this series. He might average 40 for this series. Kevin Love playing really well. Cleveland was clicking on all cylinders except for pretty much J.R. Smith. And, God, Jordan Clarkson, what an awful game. He didn't help either. There was a string when Jordan Clarkson was in and Cleveland started losing that lead, and I'm like, you got to take him out. Because clearly the lights were too big.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the damn ball. Well, I don't say can't, refuses to pass the ball.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats. They don't look good at all.
I mean, he refused to pass the ball. It's just like, that's whatever. Be that as it may, Jeff Green played a decent game. Cleveland played well enough to win, but the referees, I guess, didn't see it fit. With that change to that call that they made towards the end of the game, which nobody's ever seen before. Of course, the rules changed this year where apparently they can go back and change a call from a charge to a block when they go to replay, but they have to be going back initially to see whether LeBron was in the restricted area. That's when shit gets hazy to me, because it was clear he wasn't in a restricted area. You got two refs with a perfect angle to see that. I think it was a sorry excuse for them to go and look at that call and change it. And I would say that along with JR's boneheaded mistake is what cost him the game. So,
Yeah.
You know, they'll come back in game 2 and hopefully they'll put up a fight. I don't know if this is going to completely demoralize them or not. I think LeBron is going to play a big role in whether they come out next game with a whole ton of energy or not. But Jesus Christ, let's get on Kevin Durant for a second.
No, I'm gonna jump to that. I'm gonna segue to that, but I'm gonna say this: as far as Cleveland goes, two things, and this is one thing, and y'all can hate me for this, y'all can say I'm wrong for this. As big of a talent that LeBron James is, this will be the first time that LeBron leadership is really going to be showed on display. Because we all know he's a great talent. Don't get me wrong. But if he can get his team to bounce back from a demoralizing loss like this,
yep.
And I'm not talking about like him, because you know he's gonna bounce back. I mean, you seen it that time he scored 45 against the Celtics a long time ago, when he was about to get eliminated.
Yep.
He bounced back then, but every time you see LeBron bounce back, it's LeBron bouncing back. In this situation, LeBron bouncing back may not be enough because he's just scored 51 points. What else do he need to do?
And folks, I mean, that doesn't happen very often against the Golden State Warriors.
No, I mean, not just unless they get the Golden State Warriors. That don't happen in general.
Right.
I mean, how many times in the NBA Finals somebody scored 50 points in the finals?
And you look at the percentage he shot. I mean, he wasn't just taking.
No, he shot 59%. I mean, he shot 59%.
And those weren't just layups, people. Every jumper he was taking was falling into.
50.
So,
I mean, it's like. I mean, to me, it's like. It's nothing. Like, we talked about this off the air.
Yep.
We talked about this the other day on the phone. If anything that happens in this series, if they get swept or if they lose it in 7 games, it's definitely not going to be his fault.
No.
You're not going to blame. You can't blame LeBron James. Everybody wants to blame LeBron James. Oh, he can't win. He can't do this.
Right.
This guy is doing this, playing 48 minutes. 51. He scored 51 points in 48 minutes.
And see,
he basically,
and that's the thing.
He scored more than 1 point a minute.
And that's the thing. You can't even really criticize his teammates so much last game. Other than J.R. Smith, they put themselves in a position to win. Aside from Jordan Clarkson, the team didn't play too bad. That's more help than I've seen him actually get. He had a crazy scoring outburst, but that's honestly more help defensively and offensively than I've seen him get in a long time. As far as this season is concerned.
But see, this is what I was saying. LeBron James is going to be LeBron.
Right.
Like you said earlier, you won't be surprised if he averages 40 in this series.
Oh, no, of course not.
The rest of the team may be so demoralized. Nobody else on the team may score double digits for the rest of the series because of this loss. So it's up to LeBron to say, hey, you guys need to dig in and we need to go out there and tough it out and play our A game just like we did game 1, and we're going to have a fighting chance. Well, hell, they're going to have better of a fighting chance because they really surprised me. And, you know, on the flip side of that, like you said we'll talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, to me, he scored 26, but he shot 8 of 22. That's not Kevin Durant's numbers. I mean, he's a better shooter than that. But for me, I feel like I don't think Kevin Durant's hungry, man.
He just looked disinterested.
He does. I mean, you can clearly see last year when he went in the finals. He wanted that ring, and that's why. Once again, when we talked off the air, when we were talking before this, I cannot blame Kevin Durant for winning a championship last year because he was the sole factor of winning. He went to the team. I can get it. Everybody else want to talk about, oh, he joined the 73-9
right.
But he was the deciding factor of that team winning that championship last year. I can't knock him for that. But it's like what we saw last night. That's the stuff that you'll get criticized for joining a team and playing like this.
I mean, I'm looking, and it's like, okay, you can always tell when somebody's detached or not really interested in the game by their body language. and you could tell his body language it wasn't a positive energy coming from him. I mean, he got his shot blocked by George Hill, for Christ's sake, his jump shot. They called a foul and bailed him out, but
they really bailed him out because that was all ball. In my opinion, from what I saw, I could be wrong. You got
two traps that came, baseline side that he usually sees coming, and he didn't. Those were two turnovers that got Cleveland out in transition. So he's gonna have to play better, or Cleveland's gonna catch them off guard. And it might not even be off guard after a while in the series. It might just catch them. Period.
That's why I said LeBron needs to do what he needs to do for his teammates. Mm-hmm. It's not just he doesn't need to go out there. I'm not saying that he needs to go out there and play 48 minutes because clearly you can tell that's his choice. That's his choice. I could tell. It's taxing him like you said, but you can clearly tell that's his choice. And I don't have a problem with it if you could do it, do it. But if you see this, just like me working, I'm at work, mm-hmm. or if I'm working with somebody, or if I'm just see somebody that I'm working with in general. If I see them giving 110%, I'm gonna step my game up and give 110% too. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like the rest of the team, I don't know if they're like capable of it. They don't know what's going on. Right. You look at this. You got Tristan Thompson, 20 minutes, 2 points, 5 rebounds.
But see, you know what though?
You know what I'm saying?
Tristan played really good defense, and his stats actually don't. His impact doesn't really translate to the score sheet from last night's game.
But why is he only playing 20 minutes? Like I said, I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole game, so I can't say. I'm just looking at the stat line. It's like the people who've been there, who've been on these championship runs: Tristan, JR, Kevin Love. Who else was there? I think those were the only ones that was there.
Yeah,
I think they were the only ones that were. You would expect them to actually step up, like Kevin Love, 21 and 13. I can't knock that. He did what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I can't knock that. But I'm just saying, like everybody else is like.
Well, Tristan, I could say didn't play that much because Jeff Green played 36 minutes, and Jeff Green was bringing pretty good energy defensively, and obviously we know what he brings offensively, so I know why he didn't play that much. My thing is, when I'm looking at this, and I watched the game last night, obviously front to back, I can say that Kyle Korver definitely needs more shots.
Yeah.
And he should have taken JR's minutes. Now, I understand why Tyronn Lue didn't bench JR after that, because it would hurt the morale of the team, and it would basically look like he was punching JR and calling him out, and I can understand it, but this game, you got to play Kyle Korver more than 16 minutes, and you got to get him more than 3 shots. Period.
Yeah, he only took 3, and that's not his game. Not just taking 3. I'll say you could double that number.
Yeah, definitely.
Give him at least 6, at least 5 or 6 at the minimum.
Because he's battle tested in the playoffs.
Right. So, and not only that, he's a rhythm shooter. Right. You give him a couple of chances, he's gonna knock him down.
Right. He gets hot. It turns into a whole new series. But just like I said before, if Cleveland doesn't steal one of these on the road, and now they have no choice but to steal game 2, probably over.
If they play like this going forward, even if they lose game 2, I give them a chance to get 1 or at least 2 at home.
Hell yeah, especially if Kevin Durant plays disinterested and
if they play if Cleveland plays like they played, in game 1, they could easily get 2 games in Cleveland. That's if they play like that. But that goes back to what I said when we started talking about LeBron. LeBron needs to get his teammates up to the challenge. Yeah. Like I say, we never talk about his leadership. They tried to talk about his leadership when Kyrie was there. LeBron's never been that guy from what we seen visually. Maybe he done something behind the scenes in the locker room. LeBron has been that guy who was just like a commander. You do this, you do this, you do this. But I've never seen him really inspire or lift up his teammates. He made them better by putting them in positions to be good. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at Boobie Gibson back in 07. Yeah. He put Boobie Gibson in a position to be good. Mm-hmm. You look at the guys from Miami, not the first run when he went to championship, lost to Dallas. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about everything since then. He put players in position. Look, he had Udonis Haslem playing rough rider ball. I mean, we knew he was a rough rider,
Mm-hmm.
but he elevated his game by putting him in those positions. He put D Wade in positions, even though D Wade was health wise going down.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Bosh was never a 3-point shooter until LeBron started facilitating. And you know, back then, that's all we used to hear. LeBron's a facilitator. He facilitated the ball for Chris Bosh to hit 3-pointers.
Yep.
So he put players in a position. This team, I'm gonna tell you right now, the only person he can do that with, he can do that with Kyle Korver because he's perfect for that position.
Mm-hmm.
He's perfect to be on the back end of a facilitating, type of offense.
Right.
But for everybody else, I mean, J.R. Smith every now and then, Kevin Love, you don't need to do that with him. He can make plays on his own. You just need to give him the ball at times when LeBron's a decoy or when you try to run a play through him. Mm-hmm. But the rest of this team, this is the point where you have to say, when you actually have to see LeBron actually pull something out of his teammates. And he never, and it's not a knock on LeBron to say that he can't do it, but this is the first time you're going to actually have to see it. And I'm very interested how this will play out from here on out. Mm-hmm. But as far as the Golden State, I'm actually I'm a little surprised at Kevon Looney. I mean, he's a guy that came out of nowhere and actually played pretty decent.
Right.
With the limited time he had. So, and I'll really, before we go to the next topic, I want to ask you about this. Sean Livingston is so underrated. If that guy was on Cleveland, him and LeBron will be really nice together. And I know that's unpopular, but if you really think about it, that guy is very efficient at shooting the ball and actually playing some offense.
I tried to tell you and Uno that a couple of years ago, and y'all weren't listening to me.
No, we wasn't. And this is what this was after. He's
not even as good as he was.
No. I totally agree with that. Now, prior to him coming to Golden State when he first came in the league, he was very nice. Right. What he had like an injury or something?
I think he hurt his knee a couple times.
Yeah, he hurt his knee a couple times, and he hasn't been the same player. But outside of that,
he's smarter, and he's he uses that mid range jump shot a lot more. He used to get past people. You know what I'm saying? Like his game used to be a bit different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like outside of that, I mean, you talking about a guy who could possibly easily average 20 a night.
And he keeps that bench together because Cleveland, and that's another thing we discussed. Cleveland's bench is better than Golden State's bench on paper.
I can agree with that.
On the court, when you have Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry, you have their minutes kind of staggered, and they play with the bench.
Yeah, they're very skewed because they have so many good players. And I mean, a lot of people want to say superstars. I personally see Steph Curry and Kevin Durant is the superstars. Yeah. Klay Thompson is like right there on the cusp, but Klay Thompson is one of those type of guys that he can play very well, but you really won't see his potential until he goes to another team. Kind of like how James Harden was when he was with OKC. Mm-hmm. I look at him at that aspect right now. If he goes, like, say, if he was a number 2 at another team or whatever,
right,
he can easily probably average 28, but right now we don't know. Now, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, I would love to see him in Chicago and that Zach LaVine played the 3. I would love to see that, personally.
I'll tell you what, you want to know a team that he would make dangerous if Kemba Walker stays there? The Hornets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Get them a legit big man. Imagine they get Boogie Cousins to come to town.
Yeah, man, they're not too far up the road. I'm gonna have to go watch a couple games if that's the case.
If they get Kemba Walker, about an hour away. Klay Thompson and DeMarcus Cousins on the same team, I think the league better watch out, bro. In a couple of years, that might be.
Honestly, I think in a week or so we're going to talk about the off season because this is going to be pretty interesting in the NBA off season. I got another topic that I want to talk to you about.
Right.
We're going to jump on that. It has nothing to do with this, none of this. It's going to be real interesting. I'm going to shoot it to you too a little bit later. But we're going to jump to another topic. We're going to jump off of real basketball and real sports. We're going to talk about a sports game that's coming, that has been out, has been getting a little bit of flack, and I'm kind of upset about that, man. Tennis World Tour. Me and Bill's been irking. We've been yearning for a tennis game to come out for this console generation for the longest.
Yep.
So we may be a little bit biased, but we call it how we see it at the end of the day, and we know quality when we see it. A lot of people are giving this game a bad rap. I've been looking on Metacritic as a 49 on Metacritic, and a lot of people are upset because of the not having online. They feel that the game is unfinished. Is getting a lot of flack. But when you play the game of tennis, if you're going to play the game of tennis, this game plays very well when it comes to actually playing tennis. You know, so as of right now, if you're like want to play a career mode, like I know a lot of y'all like to play my players, but y'all like to play my players and y'all want to go play against other people online, which is understandable. I get it. But if you guys really want to play a game of tennis on the next gen console, this is the game to get. Like I don't see nothing wrong with the gameplay per se. And I played a few games in my career mode and I'm having a blast. So what are your initial thoughts about the game?
I like the game. I like the game a lot. And ever since they put that patch out, the game has been even better. The only problem I can see that people would have with the game, honestly, would be online, which I could care less about. I'll say it over and over again. These sports games are not meant to be played online. I don't care how much you want them to be. It's not how it is.
I can agree.
So
because it's just too much BS and too many nuances go into the actual sport, and then you have online issues regardless of how your internet connection is. You got to deal with your internet connection. You got to deal with the other person's internet connection. You got to deal with the game itself servers. I mean, you got to think about it. Even this year, Madden's always been known for really good online. They've had issues with online gameplay this year. And so it's like
you have a lot of people with in the sports gaming community that are operating in an insane manner. You keep buying these games every year, expecting a different result. You keep buying these games every year, expecting for it to be online, compatible, not compatible, but for it to play just as well online and offline. It's not going to happen.
And I mean, let's not even talk about MLB The Show.
Right.
Let's not even talk about that. There are people right now are just playing the game offline in general because the online is just so bad. And I try to tell people this. MLB The Show online gameplay is the worst in any sports title. It's even worse than the infamous 2K servers.
Right.
The MLB The Show servers are horrible. So if you don't have a tennis game right now on any next gen, I mean, you have AO Tennis, and I'm not even going to talk about that because I don't think that game's worth talking about.
Sure.
Tennis World Tour is a great game tennis-wise, and some of these people, and I'm not saying any names because I haven't seen anybody, but you have people in the sports gaming community want to give Axis a chance. They want to give this other game, this IMV gaming football game, a chance. If you're on that same mindset, Tennis World Tour is basically a damn near complete offline game that you can support for them to get better because it's not a bad game to play. Now, if you want to say that the game's not worth $60, okay, who am I to judge what's in your pocket? But I bought the game. I love it. I'm really enjoying it, and I don't think that it's I don't think it's warranted for the reviews that it's getting. I think it's pretty terrible.
It's not. But the thing is, when people don't do any type of research and they operate in insanity, and they have this complex where they think that just because they want something to happen and the game comes out and they know it's not going to happen, they can still complain about it not happening and not blame themselves. That's the issue. That's like if I go to McDonald's every time and I say this shit sucks, but I keep going and buying it, and then when I buy it and it sucks, I say, oh, it sucks, this is bullshit. No. Why you continue to buy these sports games, expect them to play amazing online, knowing they're not going to play amazing online, and then you got the nerve to bitch about it? No. That's not how this works. If you're an adult, you use something called common sense. And common sense tells you that these games don't play well online, yet you continue to buy them. That sounds like a you problem, not their problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if, like I say, if this game is not for you, that's fine. But this is the first iteration of this game being on this console, and from what a lot of people are saying, they're saying that from a lot of people are saying that the game don't look that it doesn't look that impressive. But a lot of people saying that it's a very realistic tennis game. They just feel a lot of hate is coming from it. They don't feel like the game is fully fleshed out.
I can
And
agree with that.
I can agree with that if you're dealing with a game that's supposed to be having online gameplay and all this other stuff, and it's supposed to have a little. You would think it'd have more things added to it when it comes to being on a PS4 platform or Xbox One platform, but it's the first game out, and it's basically done from a I don't know if it's an indie developer, but I know it's a low budget developer that just came out the game, and these guys came from the Top Spin 4 era. So a lot of people saying that the game don't look as good as Top Spin 4, which to me it looks pretty much on par with it. And I can get it. Like this one person put in the review. He said, I know this will get a lot of hate, but hey, it's a tennis game. I love playing the actual sport, but on a rainy day, this game does just fine. I think that just serves. I think that's our sentiments as well.
Right.
The game plays very well, even though it may not be up to par to what all these other sports titles are. And that's the thing. It's the first game out. I mean, you gotta think about it. You look at these other games that came out the first time it came out. What did it have?
Right.
I mean, maybe the budget is not as big enough for them to get everything right off the rip. So, I think right now the game is in a good place based on what it started out with. I recommend people to support it. Because if not, you may not get another tennis game, and then when the PS5 and the next Xbox come out, what are you going to be doing? Oh, we don't have a tennis game. Well, what can you do? But I highly recommend it. I think it's a very good game overall. I mean, I don't have anything else to add to it.
No.
I think the career mode is great so far. I mean, it's very good. It's very realistic. Nice RPG elements. You have to get rest. If you don't get rest, you don't play well. You got to learn. You got to practice. If you don't practice, your attributes go down. You can get other things to boost your attributes, and you actually have to play to actually get better and level up, or attributes go up, or whatever case may be. So I mean, you have to. It is exactly what you're looking for if you're looking for a career mode. So, anything else you want to add to that?
Nah, I mean, I'm just thinking in my head, God forbid the golf community did this shit with a golf club and bitched about online.
Oh my God.
Shit, we wouldn't see another golf club,
I mean, not only that, I mean, golf club didn't have it. They don't have authentic. They don't have authentic tours,
right?
Or authentic tournaments.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Right.
But I can't wait till that come out, because let me tell you right now, I've been playing a lot of golf club too.
Yeah,
and the only thing that doesn't really captivate me is the fact that the season mode is based on whatever tournament you put yourself in, and there's a lot of user-based tournaments, because you can create your own golf course. And some people made they recreated the Masters, and they recreated other ones, but it's just not the same, because when you win, you don't necessarily win that tournament. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean, I just can't wait till they get the PGA Tour on that game. That game is really good. We'll talk about that sometime down the line. But we're going to talk about another quote-unquote tennis game that's coming to the Xbox One via backwards compatibility, along with two other ones. Rockstar Games is knocking it out the park right now with the backwards compatibility. They did Grand Theft Auto 4. I think they did Bully. But, they always come out with great games as far as... just in general. You had Red Dead Redemption, also backwards compatible for the Xbox One. So now you have table tennis, you have Midnight Club, and you have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which this game has been out on so many different platforms now. San Andreas has been on at least 10 or 15 different platforms. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the table tennis game. A game that has been yearning for a sequel for the longest. And once again, just like we talked about Fight Night, the support of table tennis could very well could make a sequel if, like, a lot of people support Fight Night on this backwards compatibility. They could be gauging to see what people want to do. If people playing it, if a lot of people are playing it, it may say EA say, hey, we love USC, but let's use that UFC engine. Let's make a Fight Night because a lot of people are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with table tennis. A lot of people love table tennis, but they did not make enough noise to get a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is your chance. If a lot of people download this game, or if they just have their own copy and they show Microsoft that a lot of people are playing this game on the servers, because I'm pretty sure that you probably could play this game online, because I know you could back in the day. Maybe we'll get a second one. I love this game. I remember buying this when it was one of the first games I got when I got my 360 back in the day.
Right.
And I still have my original copy. So I love this game, and I think it's something that is, quite frankly, a good thing for gamers. It's one of the backwards compatibility games that I highly recommend. What are your thoughts?
Nah, I enjoyed it when I was younger. I sucked at it, but I enjoyed it. Definitely a simulation game.
Yes.
I don't know if those were legitimate players from real life, but all of them did play a bit different. They all had their strengths and weaknesses, so that was cool. Even if you didn't know who they were, after a while playing the game, you kind of learned what their strengths and weaknesses were. So that was cool. Overall, I'm liking what they're doing with backwards compatibility. It can be anything. It can be anything but negative at this point, people. I think it's a positive that they are bringing back some of these really good games that were out back in the day, especially because when you think about them perhaps using it as a test to see if we want another iteration of it, then, you know, we could go out and support it and maybe get another iteration that is fully fleshed out in a next-gen experience.
Please support the game if you really want. I'm not saying to support it just to, white knight for this game. Support it if you want another game. And I think this is one of the reasons why we're getting a lot of these games being backwards compatible. Is either to get hype for another game, just like Battlefield 1943. Let me tell you something. That's another shooter that I would not mind playing. Matter of fact, me and you, this weekend, I don't care if I have to buy the game myself. I will gift you that game, and me and you need to play that old Battlefield 1943. It's a really good game online. I just hope it's still as good as it was back then. But I know a lot of people are playing it now because of the hype of Battlefield V.
Right.
Yes, it's called Battlefield V. It's not Battlefield 5. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people are jumping on that, so I highly recommend us playing it. It's a little bit, I'm not even going to say it's dated, because it's dated back from 1943, so it's not like an old game or whatever. But it's a good game, and I want to try to get into that and see how that goes. So I'm definitely, it's one of the games where I got all the trophies for back on PS3.
Right.
It's not that many trophies to get, but it's one of them that I actually did because I actually enjoyed playing that game. But like I said, that Red Dead Redemption came out. They're getting hyped for Red Dead Redemption 2. Fight Night is on this backwards compatibility program for a reason. Don't make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Table tennis is on this backwards compatibility list for a reason. Make no mistake about it. They're not just doing it just to do it. It's probably low risk. It probably don't cost much to get it on there. And based on the perception and what people do as far as trying to get these games out there, and actually a lot of people are playing it, you probably will get another game. There's no secret about it. Now, there's another game out there that needs to be on this list, and I'm not going to talk about it, NCAA 14. But anyway, yeah, because clearly licensing is not an issue if they got the boxing game on there.
Got that right.
Licensing can't be an issue unless the NCAA is just being a total dick about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, because we know boxing license, they have to go through damn near every player. I mean, every boxer or whatever.
Yep, individually.
You got to think about it. They had to go back to the real estate of Muhammad Ali and ask them about it, because he's not living anymore. You know what I'm saying? They had to go and talk to Muhammad Ali. Yeah. They had to go talk to Mike Tyson.
Yep.
they had to go talk to these people to get this stuff done. They just can't throw this game back on there. It's one of the reasons why NCAA 14 is not on there, and they know a lot of people want that game on there.
Yeah.
But now like I said, there's nothing else to talk about that. But Rockstar Games present table tennis. Definitely, if you guys want this game on another sequel to it with updated graphics, I know it's a table tennis game. I'm pretty sure they can do 4K 60 easily.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, let's try to get that done, people. Definitely. I can't play it tonight because after this, well, I can't play it after the podcast or while we're recording because I'm going to bed. But definitely this weekend, I'm going to get on table tennis, and I definitely want to try that Battlefield 1943. I used to love that game on the PS3.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Excellent stuff. Anyway, we talked about that. Let's talk about a stupid ass lawsuit.
Oh boy, yeah, you're gonna have to lead this topic.
Okay, I'm going to lead the topic because you just now learned about this. Okay, PUBG. Everybody knows about PUBG. Yeah, it's a great game, and it was the big fad. A year ago. It's still doing very well as far as numbers on PC. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about Xbox One. I haven't checked the numbers, but I know PC. It's
still doing pretty good on Xbox One.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but I know they're doing $1 million on PC a day, and that's damn good. But anyway. They're suing Fortnite for they saying that it's infringing on their copyright. So they're going to the they sued them in a Korea court, which is kind of weird. They went all the way to Korea to sue them, but I don't know what they're thinking about suing them because PUBG is they're suing the company that they're using the engine for. If y'all don't make sense, if that don't make any sense, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Fortnite is using the Unreal 4 engine or something like that, which is made by Epic Games. Epic Games has made Fortnite Battle Royale, and they're using the Unreal engine. Well, PUBG is using that engine as well, but they're suing Epic and Fortnite for copyright infringement, saying that they infringe on the battle royale genre. First of all, you cannot sue nobody for a genre. That's like somebody suing, let's just say, who did it first? Let's say Atari Football. 10-yard fight, or whatever the first football game that was out. That's like them going to sue Madden for Madden making football games. Or anybody that made the first sports title, Pong, because that's basically like tennis, Pong back in the day. That's like suing Pong. The Pong is suing every other sports title for making a sports title, or like those the Fine brothers back in the day when they tried to sue everybody for making reaction videos. You can't sue people for a genre.
Nope.
Not only that, you're suing the same company that you're using their engine for. Like, all right, Bills, all right, I know you made this great idea, I want to use it so I can, I can make a little profit off of it. So after I make a little profit off of it, you get mad because I'm making a profit off of it and you're going to sue me, or vice versa.
It just...
Tell me, do you understand this?
I understand it completely, and I just found an article that said that Fortnite cut PUBG's player base almost in half. So
because it's more popular. It's more popular.
Yeah, and right there is the bitterness, and their game's not free, and has more problems than a game Fortnite, which is free. Go figure.
You would think it'd be the other way around, right?
So, I mean, all I see in this is bitterness, man. That's all I see. It's just a bunch of bitterness.
You can't copyright gameplay or a genre. Listen, if you could do this, that's like saying that every first-person shooter after Wolfenstein or Doom, because those are like the first-person shooters. Every game after that could have been sued by ID Software, because ID Software was the ones that made Wolfenstein and Doom. Like, how could you try to sue all of them when it's not you can't sue for a genre? That's what most games are made up off of. That's like Metal Gear suing Cypher and Filter, or they're suing Splinter Cell.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, how that makes no
Right.
sense.
That's like I make a song like my last song.
Yeah, which everybody should go listen to.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug the hell out of that. No worries coming. So that's like if I make a song in the R&B genre, and then somebody else makes an R&B song tomorrow, and I'm like, hey, you can't do that. Like, what do you mean?
Or no, and not only that, that's like saying, like just say for instance, Jodeci or any of those old R&B groups back in the day
Right.
try to sue you for making your song.
Right. Or not even, no, I gotta bet, I'm glad you brought up Jodeci. That's like if Jodeci waited till Drew Hill got popular and sued Drew Hill. Because they were basically a copy of Jodeci.
Exactly.
That's what that's like.
You know what? PUBG got so many bugs in their game. What they need to do is use this money to fix their game.
Yep.
Instead of trying to sue a company that's basically letting you use their engine, albeit you may have paid for it, but at the end of the day, they're still letting you use their engine to make your game.
They forget people paid for that game.
Yeah.
Fortnite's free. Barely has any issues. What's the excuse here? This game has been on consoles for a minute now. And look, no game is flawless. And PUBG is much better than it was.
Hold on. Go back. Go. Say that again.
No game is flawless.
Say that slower for the people in... I'm not even going to say. Just say it slower for everybody.
No game on Earth is flawless.
Continue, please.
And because no game is flawless, I can understand that PUBG might have a couple of frame rate issues. Okay, fine. But... remember, people paid for your game. They didn't pay for Fortnite. And your game has way more issues. So like BF said, use the money to fix your fucking game that people actually did pay for. Worry about getting it on a PS4, because y'all are having troubles doing that right now.
You know what? I think they're getting to the point where people are just gonna forget about this game, and it's gonna be one of those games that people just only on PC play.
I can see it.
That's seriously
a damn good game, but
yeah, PUBG's not a bad game at all. It's not my type of game because I'm more of a team oriented, co-op online, like team against team type player. That's why I like playing, like when we used to play Battlefield and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm more of like that, but that's not to take nothing away from PUBG. PUBG is an excellent game. It really is. Despite the bugs,
right?
But you decide to not fix your game when people clearly has issues with the game, have real gripes about the game, but they got tired of waiting and they see this quote unquote cartoony game out there that's free and it does what they do. They do what PUBG do, but better. They don't have to throw no money around. It's like, well, I'm gonna go play this instead.
You know what? You brought up a great point. I have to rant on a game for a second. Okay, so everybody knows PUBG is supposed to be coming to PS4. We don't know when it's gonna happen. Hopefully, it happens soon.
Okay.
H1Z1. Lord Jesus. My God. Okay.
They did right by that, huh?
This game is just okay. So first things first. Now everybody's gonna tell me H1Z1 was out before PUBG. That's fantastic. It sucks compared to PUBG. First off, you can't vault over any walls the way you can in PUBG. Secondly, you can't choose where you land, unlike PUBG and Fortnite. There's too many vehicles around to the point where pretty much everyone in the Final Four has a vehicle and they're just driving around in a circle trying to shoot each other. Pure stupidity. The hit detection's garbage. The map is always dark and dull. The time of day never changes. I could go on and on about this game. Mind you, DJ, and we talked about this last week, DJ got stuck and couldn't even move or turn left or right on the damn game and had to keep pausing to get his range of movement back. Man, fuck H1Z1, man.
Okay, I get that, but H1Z1 is free, right?
That's also free. So PUBG still, that's even more.
But see, this is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for ranting about it because you want games to work, albeit that it's free or you got to pay.
Right.
You expect this type of thing to happen with Fortnite because it's a free game. All free games that I've played, you could tell when you play it, it's kind of a buggy mess, or the game just feels cheap. That's how most free to play games feel. You rarely get a free to play game that's high quality like a Fortnite.
Right.
So with H1Z1, I get it. I get how you feel about it. My nephew was playing that on PC before it even came to console, so he likes the game. I never was an H1Z1 fan. When I saw it, I just looked at it and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Right.
But yeah, I get it with H1Z1. It's free. It got problems. I'm just gonna be a contrarian. I'm just gonna say, what do you expect out of a free game?
But you know what though? Here's another thing, and this is the last thing I'll say on this topic. Stop putting that beta title up there. Stop putting beta. Motherfucker, this game been out for a year. Okay? Y'all been working on this game for a year, still messed up. I don't want to hear about beta. Okay? We paid for this game. It was supposed to be ported over from PC. It's had numerous patches. The frame rate still pretty bad.
I don't understand how PUBG is still jacked up like this though.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
like I have fun playing it, but it's still not where it should be, and they sure as hell come off as very bitter suing Fortnite.
Yeah, I totally agree. But there's a couple of shooting games that I'm looking forward to. We're not going to talk about that now. We're going to talk about that next week because I saw a trailer to a shooting game.
Oh boy!
Oh my God!
I'm still pissed because I don't have a fucking game on PC.
That game needs to come to consoles. I'm sorry, but and there's another game that is coming to consoles next year. It's Insurgency. I've been telling people about this game for what, like 3 years now?
Yeah, you have.
I've been two excellent games, and I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all can Google it and find out what the second game is. But that Insurgency, my God, that is a great shooter. It's one of the best I've ever played. It's up there with Battlefield 4, if not slightly better for a few reasons, but I'll get into that later. And the other game, I want to get into some more detail. I want to get some more information about it before I get in detail, because all we saw was just a trailer. But anyway, I think that's everything that we had on deck. But I did tell you that I had another topic that I wanted to jump on, and I want to know your thoughts about this. I was on my way home from work today, and there were two topics that I heard on the radio that I found very interesting, and it pertains to college football.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the SEC. The SEC came out with two rules recently, and I think it was either today or it was earlier this week.
Okay.
One, players that transfer, they don't have to, if they transfer within the conference of SEC, like say if somebody from Alabama decided to go to Georgia or somebody from Florida decided to go to Mississippi State, they don't have to sit a year. They could play right away.
I like that.
I like that. And the second one is a little bit more of a serious topic, but I think this is actually pretty good. It's going to keep people's integrity in check. If you've been convicted, I think it was convicted, or if you've been accused, and I don't know if it's accused because I think that's a little sketchy, but if you've been accused, I think it's if you've been accused of domestic violence or any type of assault or like a felony, or I think it even goes to certain misdemeanors, you're not eligible to play in the SEC. Like they came up with those two rules. I want to know, I'm going to look it up while I get your thoughts about it so I can get some clarification on that. What do you think about those two rules?
I like the first one. I don't like the second one. Well, if it's convicted, I mean...
That's how I'm looking it up right now just to make sure.
Like, see, domestic violence...
Okay. The first one is exactly what I said. Under the new rule, the SEC graduates, they can transfer within the conference and play right away. Right. Now that's true. I want to get clarification on the other one though. But go ahead.
Yeah, domestic violence is such a slippery slope, and I still don't think that people who lie about being you know, hit or abused or anything like that, I don't think they suffer enough consequences for lying and trying to damage a player's career or try to damage somebody's life in general, right? Whether they're a celebrity or not. So, I'm definitely not the person to ask about this because I'm going to tell you straight up that I really don't like how these accusations come out and the person's automatically looked at as guilty. So I don't really agree with that. If it is, you know, oh, the person's accused, they can't play in the SEC. I don't like that. I also think it's pretty bad that you target just that specific situation of crime and say, if you do this thing, this specific thing, then you can't play in the SEC. Okay, so that means that you can what? Kill somebody? That means you can rob somebody? I don't really like how they approach that.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna go back and it said the SEC also voted to expand. It's called the serious misconduct policy.
Mm-hmm.
It includes a ban. Okay, all right. It includes a ban on high school signees with a history of domestic, sexual, and interpersonal violence. The old rule back in 2016 only applied to transfer students. So if you're in high school and you have a history, which I would think, what the hell in high school you have a history of this for at that young of an age? But
not only that, what do they count as a history? Do you have to be found
guilty? That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
And not, no, but I see this thing. This is what I have a problem with it. I like the rule because the fact that you want to bring guys who have high integrity and who's going to be a good role model as far as a football player. I get that. Mm-hmm. But what I don't like about it is, if you talk about somebody with a history or whatever, what if like they were just caught up in a situation? What if it comes back and say the person who was there, that was the quote unquote victim, was lying? Yeah. What if they had a situation where they were found not guilty of a crime,
there has
but
to
they
be
just had
some type of discretion.
That's what I'm saying. Like a history of it could be like, okay, you just been caught up in a bunch of situations. You're not coming in the SEC,
right?
But the history could be like, well, they never were convicted or whatever.
And the thing is, we're not even talking about a Pac-Man Jones situation where he always finds himself around trouble, but never is actually doing the shit. It's not. Right. That's not how domestic violence works. Okay, now if you are in a situation one time and the chick turns out to be lying, okay, fine, no foul. But if it keeps happening, then there should be a question.
Yeah.
So I think there should be discretion used. But one guy, one particular time, has a lie told about him, and automatically he's a woman beater, or he's a this, or he's a that. I just think that
you see, that's the public opinion getting into that.
Of course.
So they that right there. Hopefully, with this thing saying with the history of it, would kind of weed that out, because one person did one incident could possibly you be in a situation where what that running back is from Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati. No. Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. You could be in this situation like he did, where clearly it was wrong for what he did, but the girl who was the victim even apologized, but people still won't let it go.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. But I think that first rule is an excellent rule.
I do.
The second one, I agree with it because I'm high on integrity. I'm not like holier than thou. But you don't want people coming in to your school and have a history of stuff, and then you end up like Baylor.
No, that's true.
Because you see what happened with Baylor. Mm-hmm. Baylor had they got guys who had a history of the problems, and damn near that whole team was, and damn near had to get kicked off the team.
Glad RG3 made out of that squeaky clean.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't either. And Josh Gordon somehow.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's my only flip side to it. I don't want it to be a situation where people getting pointed out and they can't get an education or they can't play football because of public opinion. But if you're a high schooler and you have these problems, I'm not going to say ban them, but they really need to be on a really tight leash if I'm going to give them a scholarship.
Right.
So, I mean, I like it in a sense where for other reasons, but I don't want them to really, pull people out of a situation or give them a lack of opportunity because they feel that public pressure is going to sway them.
Mm-hmm.
Because public pressure should not be taking should take precedent over what a team is going to do, unless if they've done something real egregious. I mean, public opinion shouldn't even have to deal with this situation if it's real egregious anyway. But I'm really curious about how this transfer thing gonna go though. That's gonna be real interesting because soon as they did that, I think a couple people from Alabama just jumped ship and left. Like they just went to another. Yeah, I mean, no, seriously, I can't remember. I was listening to it on the radio, and yeah, I was listening to the radio. Like they said, matter of fact, they said no, because they're trying to block Alabama's Nick Saban tried to attempt to block for transfers of offensive linemen and Maury Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Maury Smith, he tried to block that too. So yeah, there's a couple people trying to jump ship, like they're just trying to go. So yeah, I mean, I think that's I think this is pretty interesting on how that's gonna play out.
You know, I got one more topic.
Go ahead,
one more topic. So I said this on Twitter and I've said it on Facebook a couple times, and I've been thinking about this for the longest time. I know people have an issue with Golden State and how dominant they are, and they have an issue with Cleveland and the fact that they're making the finals every year too. And I have a solution that the NBA would never use, but it's a solution nonetheless. And I want your thoughts on it.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I sat down and I made a list. I made a list of all the major cities in the NBA, pretty much, where you could put teams and keep those teams there and pretty much eradicate half the teams in the league.
Okay.
And the reason is because for those who want parity, they really wouldn't get it in this current state of the league because there's just too many teams. So all the superstars are spread out. So my thought was, and I'll just give a couple examples. Let's say you have LA, okay? You don't need 2 LA teams, just 1 LA team. You can keep Golden State. You get the Knicks, the Celtics, the Bulls, right? You just keep naming the major cities. Let's say you do that and you redraft the league. But here's the catch. The catch is that the team whose highest paid player, or I guess they can deem him as best player, they can protect one player. Mm-hmm. They can protect one player and that guy can't leave. Not can't leave, but if he chooses, they can, however they want to go through it. They can pretty much protect one player, right? And you redraft the league. And everybody else is a free agent. And I think what that would do was, A, it would weed out the bad players. Okay? B, it would make it so that there was more parity in the league because you wouldn't have teams like Golden State running roughshod. Because then they'd have to face a team that had a Boogie Cousins, John Wall, LeBron James, whatever stars they had on their team that could combat that. There's not going to be parity in the league if you have a diluted league with diluted talent, and you have teams that will never make it to the finals. They'll never sniff the finals, like the Charlotte Hornets, like the Milwaukee Bucks. So I want your thoughts on that.
No, I think that'd do a great job for parity in the league if they implemented that, because like every year you have at least 4, maybe 6 teams that's guaranteed that's going to be at least in the conference finals.
Never fails.
It never fails. So I'm totally with you on that. I mean, if they try to, I see what you say, because what it does, it kind of configures out and just spreads out the talent.
Exactly.
Somewhat like how the NFL is right now. In the NFL, they don't use the same format, but they do a great job of spreading out talent.
Right.
And I think that's what the NBA needs, because you got to think that some of these lower market teams in the NFL have great players. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even the ones in, even the ones, you're looking at Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Tampa Bay is not a big time football city, but they got that. Look at Green Bay. They're And I mean, there's a great football town, but there's a very low market. Great players there.
Right.
You know, even in Arizona, they're not winning much, but they have, you know, good players.
And that's the thing. They can make the argument that I'm glad you brought up Arizona. Now, people are going to make the argument, okay, well, you can't really compare it to the NFL because they have more players. Okay, well, let me give you an example. I'll give you another example. Arizona. You brought up Arizona. Think about the Pro Bowlers that they have on that team. Think about the guys that are top 10 at their position on that team. That's what you would transfer over to the NBA with the thought process. Because you got a Patrick Peterson, you got a Larry Fitzgerald, you got a Calais Campbell, you got a David Johnson. Those are 4 players that are top 10 at their position. It's not debatable, right? So, in the NBA, let's say you had 3 dudes on every team that were top 10 in their position. That's parity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Golden State has 2 of the top 3 players in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just think about that. Think about the fact that, okay, now obviously this is subjective, but think about it in the Eastern Conference. Can you name another player in the Eastern Conference that's top 10 in their position? Or top 5? Can you name another player in the Eastern Conference that's top 10 in the league or top 5 at their position?
Jesus. But you know I can't think of anybody. You got LeBron, you got Kyrie,
right? And then after that, you start drawing a blank, right? Gordon Hayward when he's healthy, maybe.
Yeah, but you talking about top 5 or 10?
Exactly.
Yeah, 10 is stretching it with him. And
exactly. That's my point. So when you think about it,
John Wall could have been that guy, but he lost his jump shot.
Yeah. Yep. Bradley Beal, maybe. Okay.
Bradley Beal got a better jump shot, but he doesn't have the moves of John Wall.
Right. Drummond fell off.
Joel Embiid's not ready. Kristaps not ready.
See? So that's my point. Is in the Eastern Conference, a lot of people say it's a cakewalk, which I wouldn't go that far to the finals for Cleveland. Wouldn't call it a cakewalk, especially not this year. But it is easy when you have the best player in the league. I can agree with that. It's easier. But in the Western Conference, look at these teams you got. You got James Harden and Chris Paul on the same team. You got Boogie and AD on the same team.
AD, yeah. And I keep forgetting that they're in the West. I don't know why I keep forgetting that they're in the West.
Clay, who's a star in his own right, with Steph and KD on the same team. So just imagine if that happened in the Eastern Conference. You wouldn't see LeBron in the finals every year. It'd be a Herculean effort for him to make the finals every year like that. It'd be a Herculean effort for Golden State to win every year. So,
yeah.
I mean, like I said.
And you're possibly looking at a situation where you're looking at Houston.
Yep.
You're looking at Golden State.
You're looking at LA, depending on what they do in this draft, this imaginary draft, right?
Yeah, you're looking at that. I mean, if LeBron stays in Cleveland, you're looking at them again. Right. And then it kind of sucks because you're looking at a team like Miami. Miami got a great chance to make noise. They have a good team. You look at the Celtics. That's another team that's on the level with Cleveland and them. When healthy, they're one of the 4 or 5 teams that we talk about where the other 27 teams don't have a chance. And it kind of sucks because the NBA has moved themselves into a player-driven league where NFL is the NFL is more of a team-driven league. Even in the NHL, and I've been following that for a while now, NHL is starting to turn to a semi-team, semi-player-driven league, but it still leans on the teams for the most part. You know, so in baseball tried their best to make it a player-driven league, and you see what happened with that when they went to the player-driven. The steroid era started, so they went back, and now they're more of a team-driven type.
And
league.
That's another thing is the NHL and major leagues. The reason why there's so much parity is very simple, because A, it's not a player-driven league. B, these players that are coming out and going to these teams are polished and ready to play at a high level. And if they aren't, then the farm system is their friend. The NBA doesn't use the D-League like that, and that's why you get rid of half of these teams in the league, and that's when you use the D-League. Okay, the D-League becomes paramount at that point, because dudes' jobs ain't safe no more.
Well, yeah.
That's true. Think about it. Everybody talks about how hard it is to get in the NBA. They talk about all these statistics. Oh, it's so hard. It's so difficult. Well, look, all you got to do is, if you play at a big school and you come out after that first year and your school has success, you're making it to the NBA, even if you suck. Even if you can't dribble with your left hand, even if you can't box out properly, you're going to make it to the NBA. Prime example, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. What has he done? Has he done anything? Nothing. He was a top 10 pick.
Oh my God.
Marvin Williams, how about him? What did he do? He ain't.
Don't even talk. Yeah, listen. Don't even talk about Marvin. Marvin got drafted by the Hawks, man, and I was there.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Hawks fan, but that's where I'm from, so I know all about that experiment. Yeah. Excellent college player.
Yeah.
Excellent college player. And don't get me wrong, he's serviceable because he's still in the league after all this time. Because you got to think about, he was on the team with Raymond Felton, Sean May. Mm-hmm. He was on that team. Sean May is nowhere to be found. Raymond Felton's doing so-so. And like I give him that, but he did not deserve that number 2 overall.
And that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So
not.
with the draft cut down to say 15 picks, now all of a sudden that player has to be good if he's going to make an impact right away, because he's coming onto a team with Boogie, John Wall, Kyrie, that type of team. So it makes the draft more important. It makes the D League or G League, whatever the hell they call it now.
They call it the G League.
Right, the G.
Which I thought it was better when it was called the D League.
The G, the garbage league. That's what it is.
I was going to put another G in there, but I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, we ain't trying to get flagged. But, but I mean, yeah, it's just, I think it's a good idea that will never happen. Honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add to that, but I think you came up with a brilliant plan as far as the NBA creating parity.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. But one more thing, and I know this is another topic that I saw the other day. Too little, too late. But if you're still on board with it, I highly recommend it. Gran Turismo Sport came out with another patch with more cars and more offline stuff for their modes. I highly recommend people to go pick that up and play it. Patch 1.14 came out the other day. Like 5 more cars and like 4 or 5 more tracks or something like that. They're really giving this game the offline treatment that it should have been from the get-go.
Right. That's what's up.
And yeah, and I don't know if you still have the game, because I know you say you bought it.
Well, I mean, it's not on my hard drive. I don't say it's not on my hard drive. It's on my system. It's just not downloaded.
Okay, yeah, it said they added 9 new cars.
Okay.
And they did another update just that quick.
They had any tracks?
Hold on, they did an update 4 or 5 days ago. That was update 1.14. They just did another one, 1.19.
Damn.
They just did that today. It did it yesterday. And they added 9. The last one they did 5. No, the other day they did 5 new cars. This one is 9 new cars. And all of these updates are free. And they more tracks. Let's see. They did 3 new single player. Well, they didn't do more tracks. They did 3 new single. Well, no, they did 1 new track. And they said it's a really big track because it's used for the 24-hour Le Mans. So that's a big track. They did 3 new single player race series. 3 new single player race series.
Okay.
That's used for offline. And the last one they did like 5 new series. So they did 8 series within a couple weeks.
What's up?
So I mean, yeah, and the game looks beautiful. And that between that and Forza 7, my God, I don't know which one looks better.
Wow. Okay, so I might have to check it out then.
Yeah, I definitely, since the updates are free and they're really, catering to the offline side, I highly recommend it. And I don't know if anybody knows that we here at First and Framerates are a big proponent of offline gaming, because online gaming just gives too many nuances that can kill gameplay at times. The only time we really do like our online gaming is mostly it's just on shooters, because usually shooters are really good at online gaming, not sports. Sports is just terrible. But yeah, that's the last thing I have to say about that. I highly recommend that. The tennis game, I know people talking about the tennis game. I think it's great to pick up and to pick that up.
Right.
The other games that are backwards compatible, I think you should jump on those definitely because they're Rockstar games. The NBA Finals, we'll see what happens. We will continue to give our thoughts later on in next week.
And people, yes, I am going to plug this.
Do it, man. Do it. I highly recommend.
So, for anybody who didn't listen to last week's podcast, I am starting my music career, jumpstarting my music career. I'm an R&B singer from Boston, Massachusetts, and I have a SoundCloud with the single out called "Come Back." You can find me on SoundCloud at the Joseph Royal, capital T, capital H, capital E, no space.
That link,
yep.
The link of the song will be in the description. Yep. If you guys can check that out.
So if you like R&B music, please check it out. Leave a like, share it with your friends. We're trying to make this as big as possible. And
it's also his pinned tweet on his Twitter.
Yep. So please definitely check that out. And if you like it, then by all means share it, like it, and definitely coming out with more music in the next couple weeks. So
yeah, I just retweeted it as well. So if you guys could, it's gonna be on my timeline if you catch that.
Appreciate it.
Definitely the link to the SoundCloud. The SoundCloud link will be in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely check that out. It's a nice song. I first heard it when he sent it to me the first time. I thought it was nice, and obviously I'm a lover of music. If you know my Twitter account,
yep.
I don't sway away from good music, and I highly recommend you guys check this out and support. Definitely. I don't have anything else to say. I do have another announcement, but I don't make a whole video on that. I think I talked about it on the last podcast at the end of it, but I wasn't gonna say it in the beginning. But I talked to my better half, and she said just make a whole video about it. That will be coming in the coming weeks. Just want to get some other things in line first before I talk about that, because there's some other things we have to go through to get that together. But so far so good. You already know.
Yeah.
Everything is still on the up and up right now. But
I'm glad.
Yeah. So just to make things official, got a couple more things to do before then. I'm definitely gonna make a whole video about that because I think I'm very excited about that. So we both have making big moves. Another episode in the can. I think people will enjoy this. Share this. Please share it.
Yes.
We don't ask for nothing. Nah. We don't want people to put money in the Patreon. We don't want people to, support us monetarily. We're good on that. I mean, we're just here we're more like the old school YouTube. We just want you to listen and add feedback. That's all we ask. I mean, if things push come to shove and we may ask for $1 or so, so be it. But as of right now, I highly doubt that'll be the case because it's too many people out there doing it right now, and we don't want to. We kind of go left when everybody goes right. We want to do the opposite because we don't want to be what everybody else is doing.
Amen to that.
Yeah, we always try to be different. All we ask for you to listen and bring your ideas along to the table. So, anything else you want to add before we close it out?
Nah, man, that's it. Just if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like it and leave any comments, concerns in the comment section, and we will be back next week with another video.
Yeah, we'll be back in a week with more
content.
Shout out to Shutdown Safety, man. Oh shit, we out. Peace.